until now, it's all been a little bit of an appetizer, Syracuse fans. Yeah, we make it through our non-conference schedule unscathed. But now, it is the real thing. Yes, I mean, it was a kind of interesting there for a minute against Army. Yeah, the Black Knights of the Hudson came up there to the dome. And I mean, they rode in on those heavy suits of armor. How anybody could stand to wear suits of armor, even back in medieval days, I have no idea. You're clanking along and everything, and I mean, when you try to lift that sword. But you know, they're Army, they're disciplined, they're deliberate. And boy, they executed their game plan to a T through the first half, playing keep away. Well, when the few times Syracuse had the ball, it was like they were in a different area, like they weren't ready. But you know, halftime is for making adjustments. Wrench, socket, hammer, tink, 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 boom. That's what happens if you try to hammer dynamite. Is that, you know, sooner or later it'll explode. Yeah, sooner or later, Garrett Schrader and the Orange were going to explode. Yes, and they did. Holding the Army to not too many yards, except for that touchdown in garbage time and a big 29-16 victory over the Black Knights, sending them back to the Hudson. Yeah, thank you for the game, Army. Thank you for everything. But that was our house. You don't come into our house and do anything and, try to beat us. But as I said, as of this Saturday, it's the real thing. In comes our old friends from South Carolina. The first ACC matchup for the Orange. It's against Clemson. And it'll be the last home game for over a month. Because look what's ahead on the schedule. You got North Carolina. You got Florida State. And also you got Virginia Tech down in Blacksburg on a Thursday night. Unfortunately, on opposite a Bills game. So, there's going to be a pretty big decision for a lot of fans. Do we want to watch the Bills play Tampa Bay? Or do we want to watch the Orange beat Virginia Tech? Big decisions. Decisions. A lot of decisions. And yes, Clemson right now seems to be in a little bit of a purgatory. As you know, it seems as though they become a victim of their own success. Seems as though Dabo Swinney, all the years of building them up, all the years of, them being the king there of the ACC for a while, maybe coming to an end. Florida State's kind of ascended back to the top under Mr. Norvell. Now, can Clemson be right there for the beating, especially in front of about 50,000 rabid Orange fans? Our Orange, not their Orange. Of course, they kind of throw a little off purple into it. And of course, when you know they wear off purple, some people may become violet about that. Not only that, they may show a little bit of violence. Oh well, it's all been an appetizer, but it's now the real thing, Orange. Let's show Clemson you don't come into our house and beat us. And speaking of beatdowns, what a beatdown Buffalo put on Washington. Yeah, this defense is for real. Pardon me. 9 sacks, 4 interceptions, 1 fumble. Pretty good game by the Buffalo defense. Yeah, a big 37-3 beatdown of the former Redskins. Yeah, still bugs me why they're no longer the Redskins. They gotta be the Commanders. Somewhere around here, John Riggins is kind of wondering, I gotta crank up that diesel. We gotta be back to the Redskins. Or Joe Theismann, hoping to put on his one-bar helmet again. Oh, I digress. But what a beatdown, especially with Terrell Bernard. He seems to be stepping into that role that Edmonds had pretty good. That second-year linebacker is doing a pretty good job. Yeah, and not only is Terrell doing a good job, he's a little chippy, if you know what I mean. Go to your local top supermarket and you'll find out. And of course, A.J. Epinesa, showing that, hey, I'm the guy from Epinesa, and I'm not the girl from Ipanema with the way I did that play. Yeah, batting it down and taking it in for a pick six. And of course, I tried doing my little singing of the girl from Ipanema, but even I can be off key. You know, the one there who is the girl from Ipanema that the song is based on, at nearly 80 years old, she still looks like she could walk in a bathing suit. But of course, this is upstate New York, not Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, if you know what I mean. But next up is a fearsome opponent. It is a bitter rival. But right now, Miami is playing like they're on another planet. Yeah, it is. I mean, I couldn't believe. For the first time in about 50-some years, a team scored 70 points in an NFL game. Unheard of. Of course, way back in the 1940 NFL Championship, Chicago put up 73 points. But you know, this Miami team's playing lights out, and that's no Peter Wolf. I mean, Tua Tagovailoa is playing like he's on another planet. Tyreek Hill is playing like he's on another planet. Raheem Mostert looks like they're on another planet. But you know what? We got to take them out of outer space and bring them to Earth. Buffalo's defense looks like it could be the one to bring Miami back to Earth. Because, you know, yeah, they're on a blistering pace with their offense. But sooner or later, you gotta ground them. Just like it is if you try to put a penny in a light socket. Yeah, you'd be grounded. But Buffalo after that start against the Jets. 2 dominant victories. But now we gotta ground those fish. You know, this is our big opponent, guys. And this is one of the biggest times the Fish and the Bills play in about 30-some years, since the days of Dan Marino and Jim Kelly. This is going to be a big game, Bills fans. We got to ground these Dolphins. And we got to really squish the Fish. Now I'm going to talk locally. I'm kind of wondering what happened with Waterloo against Newark Marion. Yeah, Waterloo had the lead at the half. But did they visit the bakery there to start the second half? Hey, the only turnovers you should have is in a bakery, not on the field. The way you gave it up and the way you imploded in the second half against Newark. I'm kind of wondering about this Waterloo team. Yeah. You got the plays and you can do the offense, but you got to play 48 minutes. Yeah, it's not 60 as in the college. It's 48 on the high school level. But you can't implode like that. And not a good way there, Waterloo. And for Mynderse, hallelujah, you can score points, but you still can't win. You still can't play defense. Yeah, even against those farm boys from Marcus Whitman. What's going on here, Mynderse? Do you want to have any pride? Do you want to have any semblance of a team? Yeah, you scored, but again, you lose. It's going to be interesting coming up here. Yep. But Waterloo, Mynderse, kind of get your acts together, if you know what I mean. They're really interesting. And I'll close my show by saying this. The Ryder Cup is this weekend, and they're playing over in Italy. And it is going to be an interesting Ryder Cup. Yep. I mean, you already got the war of words from Rory McIlroy and others saying that, hey, Europe has got to win the cup for the LIV golfers and everything. But you know what? It doesn't matter what tour you're on. It's in America's possession, and America has to keep the Ryder Cup. It is a source of pride, guys. Let's win over in Italy. And I mean, let's have some spaghetti while we're at it, too. That's all I got to say this week. And it's going to be an interesting weekend. Clemson, Miami, be ready for the Orange and the Bills.